Season 2 Episode 5 of X-Men 97 revealed the horrifying aliens called the Brood, but then this red guy shows up and completely obliterates them. Well, that red guy is Omega Red, and he's one of Wolverine's most deadliest enemies. But what makes him so dangerous that not even the Brood could stop him? But before we get into that, go ahead and leave your answers down in the comments below to this random question. If Omega Red was a vitamin, what benefits would he bring you? So what makes Omega Red so dangerous? Omega Red is a mutant with the basic superhero formula, a regenerative healing factor, which definitely comes in handy against Wolverine, and his most dangerous ability called the Death Factor. Omega Red's Death Factor is basically when he releases these lethal pheromones called death spores that would weaken or straight up murder anybody in his vicinity. So normal humans could be killed in seconds just being around him. Like if I'm sitting here in my chair and Omega Red walks into the room, and unfortunately for everybody else, Omega Red is also a cyborg, which makes all of his powers even stronger, including his Death Factor. And to add a little extra FU to the equation, Omega Red also has these indestructible tentacles that can drain a person's life force. At this point, he might as well be called the Grim Reaper because all of his powers revolve around killing people. And you might be thinking, oh, maybe Omega Red was a really nice guy before he became this cybernetic mutant killing machine. Like, he was probably just a victim of circumstance. Nope, no he wasn't. But I need a drink before I even get into that. This dude's crazy. Before he was Omega Red, he was a young man named Arcadi Rosvc who grew up in Soviet Russia, and before his mutant powers even emerged, his family was always afraid of him. Why is that? Well, it's because Arcadi loved nothing more than to mutilate animals and murder unhoused people. Murdering people for fun. Supervillain rule. Eventually, Arcadi would join the Russian army and become a part of the elite task force, the Spetsnaz. And you think being part of the military will put some discipline in his life and cause Arcadi to chill out on the murder. Nope. He would continue to murder innocent men, women, and children just for the love of the game.
We're dealing with one sick son of a bitch.
Eventually, Arcadi's crimes were discovered and he was sentenced to death. But of course, right when he was about to be executed, that's when his mutant powers came into effect. Arcadi was able to escape to Europe in order to find new victims to test his Death Factor power on. Sicko. But fortunately, he was shot up and arrested by the KGB, who forced him into the Russian super soldier program called Omega Red. Because yeah, let's make a serial killer with superpowers even more powerful. That won't bite us in the butt. Arcadi, who is now Omega Red, was given the cybernetic enhancements that made all of his powers even stronger, but it also gave him retractable tentacles that were made out of this special metal called carbonadium. And carbonadium is the Soviets' attempt of recreating adamantium, which is the same metal used to create Wolverine. And it also gave the tentacles that Omega Red used the power to drain someone's life force. But there was a specific reason for that. Carbonadium is highly radioactive, and because it was in Omega Red's body, it was slowly killing him. So that's why his tentacles need to be able to drain life force, so that he wouldn't die. In order to cure himself, Omega Red needs a device called the Carbonadium Synthesizer, which neutralizes the radioactive effects of carbonadium. But unfortunately, the device was stolen and hidden by Team X, which consists of Maverick, Sabretooth, and our good old friend Wolverine. And because of this, Omega Red would hunt Team X for years because he believed they knew where it was. And this led to a bunch of conflicts between Omega Red and Wolverine, and one of their fights lasted for 17 hours. Like, these dudes go crazy on each other. And Omega Red was even powerful enough to single-handedly defeat a team of X-Men. So while Omega Red only had a few minutes of screen time in episode 5 of X-Men 97, he really shone bright for me, and I hope we see more of him. But now it's time to discuss your answers to the random question: if Omega Red was a vitamin, what benefits would he bring you? I'm gonna say that Omega Red helps with sleep. Instead of killing you, the Omega Red vitamin gives you a ton of melatonin. So just before bed, take Omega Red. But what do you think of Omega Red? Where does he rank on your favorite supervillain list? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, go ahead and pop your claws at the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you missed my previous video where I talked about Apocalypse's greatest weakness, go ahead and click on the box right here, and I'll see you in a bit.